I see a faint light, getting dimmer and dimmer as I descend deeper into this hole. What am I looking for? Is it love? Is it the feeling of self-worth? Is it validation? It can't be any of those things. I have enough of those. I need something to devalue my worth as a person, but how? Holy shit. I found it. Hello, I'm Jaecen, and today's the epitome of degeneracy. You see, I was introduced to the concept of media about, 16 or so years ago, and that spiraled to my crippling addiction of anime girls playing Minecraft with each other. But hey, it isn't all bad, it's just I get a weird look from the rest of, the world whenever I watch whatever the hell this is. Maybe we're regressing as a society, or it's just another new trend, who knows. But what I do know is Hololive, a virtual YouTuber idol agency. I might have just thrown a lot of lingo towards you, and what does that mean? Virtual YouTuber, idol, agency, So imagine a Twitch streamer, but instead of a face cam, they play a character that detects their facial and slight body movements in the form of an avatar, usually an original design. That's what you call a virtual YouTuber, or VTuber for short. This whole craze started around 2011, where a more quote-unquote primitive, I know I'm using that wrong, vlog channel named Amy Yamato hit the scene. However, the start of the virtual YouTuber that we know today is Kazuna Ai. She's made a living off of live streaming herself play video games, making music, making videos, idol shit. With her being an idol, someone whose talents, looks, personality, and marketability make them their money, suffice to say that this weird, technologically advanced quote-unquote new wave of entertainers was something special. Now Kazuna Ai has over 2.7 million subscribers, an album, and a couple of EPs, appearances in video games, advertisements, products like cup noodles and Galaxy phones, anime, and even on live TV. So, in the simplest and most broad terms possible, if you take a bunch of Kazuna AIs with different designs, personalities, and voices, and you put them in a group something akin to a record label, that's essentially what a virtual YouTuber agency is. But what is Hololive in particular? Hololive happens to be my personal preference when it comes to this whole VTuber phenomenon. To be honest, by saying that there are a bunch of Kazuna Eyes is doing them such a huge disservice. Essentially, Hololive production is more VTuber idols with special quirks in their design and personalities that make them stand out. For example, this is a dog, this is a pirate, and this is hell. But all in all, it's mostly people playing video games with an anime moe persona that they keep throughout. Not to mention the number of covers, songs, skits, and of course streams they do in said characters. There's already a good amount of VTubers in Hololive, so I'm not gonna go too in depth, but just know that there's a VTuber for you. So, as I edit this, a lot of Hololive VODs were taken down recently, and a lot of their older streams prior to June are taken down. Like, they're just not available at the moment, so keep that in mind when I show these clips. They're from different translators, so bless these translators. I'll link them all in the description. Personally, this whole rabbit hole started for me with Sakura Miko. If you guys don't know, she did this. In all her defense, she didn't really know what that meant. Her design is that of a shrine maiden, but she's one of the furthest things from holy. Calling herself an elite gamer, she's very blunt, often says fuck you a lot, repeats English in games she doesn't really know, and just has a fun vibe to her streams. She usually plays a lot of Western games like Outlast, Call of Duty, and of course Grand Theft Auto. So if you're into that type of thing, she's definitely a good place to start if the GTA clips don't convince you. As I edit this, Sakura Miko has announced that she will be taking a 1 to 2 month hiatus because she wants to focus on her health. So, bad timing, am I right? I then went straight to the shitter by watching Natsuiro Matsuri. Pure chaotic energy with this one. You see, one of the most popular Hololive clips is Matsuri talking about how she uses band-aids to cover her breasts in high school one day and she has to sit out during a PE class because of it. We're talking those levels of degeneracy here, but at the same time, she's one of the most real members of Hololive. She's very unfiltered when it comes to talking about more personal stuff, and she doesn't really hold back on her language when she needs to let it out. She's a huge, huge advocate of Yuri, often flirting with other members of Hololive. Did I mention she's a lolicon too? I think just by saying that, I'm on 15 different lists. You either go all in or all out, as they say, and Matsuri is a great VTuber for dipping her toes in the more chaotic side of Hololive. I think she's pretty entertaining enough to break the language barrier for someone like me, who's a dipshit that likes anime. At this point, this is where I just kinda started watching everyone. If quarantine taught me anything, it's that boredom is the main driving force for many people, and me consuming all of Hololive is no different. And after reading the comments of the Ochime Canoe video, it seems that I'm not alone.
Don't worry, this hole isn't bad after a while. Who else fell in this hole? Please help, it's only been a week since I discovered these people, and I'm already reaching inescapable parts of VTuber hell.
Is it bad that we've fallen into this hole?
I don't know, maybe.
But I shouldn't be the one to judge your taste in media whatsoever. The idea might seem weird, but that's what I thought at first. If you give these VTubers a try and they tickle your fancy, there's nothing wrong with that. Just think of it like this. You can be simping over Pokimane, or you can simp over a literal dragon, that's all up to you. I can't help but feel that Hololive is one of the many offspring from Vocaloid. You see, I think the appeal of Hololive stems from the whole fictional characters doing things in the real world market, and you can see that work in other places besides Japan. For example, Gorillaz. They're a virtual band that makes music with people in the real world like Andre 3000, Slowthai, Snoop Dogg, along with dozens of other artists. They can reach mainstream appeal without having an actual face, just these 4 virtual members. So to me, it makes sense that VTubers can do the same thing, just with way more to pick and choose from. I don't see how they can't reach mainstream appeal alongside things like anime and J-pop. I wasn't really into Kazuna Ai when she was at her peak, but something about Hololive made me enjoy them a lot more. Maybe it's their more unfiltered nature, the variety of streamers that's being offered, or I just like stupid weeaboo shit, who knows.
So, with all that out of the way, who do I recommend watching?
I don't really think there's a definitive choice when it comes to Hololive, because honestly they're all great. I already talked about Miko and Matsuri, and I think they're good starting points. There's plenty of clips of them playing games, or talking about something going on in their personal lives or within Hololive, and they're pretty entertaining to watch. I guess I can go over some of my favorites in this case. This isn't an end-all be-all guide on who you should exclusively watch, I'm just picking out some of my favorites. Usada Pekora is one that comes to mind when it comes to the more chaotic members. Part of Hololive's 3rd generation and being the queen of Pekoland, which doesn't really matter, she's a rabbit who causes other members grief in games like Minecraft. However, she can also be a damn klutz herself at times. By herself, she's pretty funny and entertaining, but when she collabs with other members, she just excels, especially with Miko. Her dynamic with Miko is something akin to a Tom and Jerry cartoon, and that's what we need more of. So really, I don't think you could go wrong with watching Pekora. Next up is Inogami Korone, and to me, she's probably the one I enjoy watching the most. She's a dog, and she's one of the more wholesome members of Hololive. She's one of the more approachable members as well, as she knows a little English, and she addresses her English viewers pretty often. Korone's game variety is pretty wide, as she'll play retro and modern games. She beat Pepsi Man, and the guy who acted in the cutscenes congratulated her, and that's just something you love to see. More recently, she played Doom 2016, and suffice to say that all her English viewers came out of the VTuber graveyard that day. So, if you're looking for accessibility, I think Korone is a damn fine place to start. Speaking of accessibility, that's where Kiryu Koko comes in. Taking her name from the Dragon of Dojima, Koko here is a literal dragon. Quickly becoming one of the more popular members of Hololive, her personality is pretty upfront and out there. She really deviates from idol norms, with her cursing a ton in English and making some pretty damn weird content. For this reason, her foreign fans really resonate with her, as she seems more like a traditional YouTuber compared to an idol. At least that's my 2 cents on it. She hosts a morning show called Asakoko, and if you want a good representation of what she's all about, just watch the commercials for these. They're so fucking weird, and they involve other members of Hololive alongside Koko. I think Koko breaks the VTuber mold because compared to her cohorts, she really understands YouTube as a platform and what she can really do. I'm not saying that the others don't, but she knows how to appeal to our Western fans the best, I think. So there, some VTubers I recommend watching, but let's do a lightning round real quick. Hosho Marine is horny, go watch her. Shirakami Fubuki is arguably the most popular member of Hololive, and she's pretty accessible to English viewers. Nekomate Okayu is pretty similar to Korone in a lot of ways, and her streams and clips are really chill because of her smooth-ass voice. How can I bring up degeneracy and not bring up Akai Hato? Her cooking videos and streams alone are a reason to watch this oddball of a VTuber, not to mention the amount of weird shit that she does with her fans. Minato Aqua does some pretty smooth-brained things pretty often, but she's pretty skilled in video games, especially Soulsborne games, so I guess I can give her the pass. And to end this, Hoshimachi Suisei is a renaissance woman, being really good at everything, especially Tetris and singing. Check her out if you want epic gamer idol. She's also a fucking psycho. To reiterate one last time, this isn't the end-all be-list of Hololive, these are just some of my personal favorites to watch and that I recommend watching if you're a complete scrub. You can literally watch anyone in Hololive to start, this is just my personal preference when it comes to design and personality. Hololive, and more so VTubers in general, is something needed on YouTube. Something weird, groundbreaking, and different. It's entertaining to watch these streamers put on this persona like an anime character in real life. As I said, it scratches that same itch that Gorillas and Vocaloid have been scratching for years, and now it's just on a different entertainment medium. What these people are doing is something great, and I want them to keep it up. And I hope this type of thing blossoms into something bigger and greater than it already is. Now that all my self-worth is gone, I think I'm in a pretty stable state. All I need to do is avoid every single form of human interaction, and I can sustain this feeling of worthlessness. Now, where do I start? Hello?